NHL Nightly with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Pierre Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barry.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to NHL Nightly. I'm your host, Jeremiah Maxwell. With me, as always, Pearlo, Wisdom, Rico, and Barry, and the Degenerate Bostonian. We'll be updating that intro sooner than later. The new year is upon us. I have to talk to my good friend, Chris Marsh, and get that going. If you're just joining us, we have three live games going. The Blues have an empty net, 55 seconds left to go, down 1 goal, 5-4 in Minnesota. Man, Blues have been good lately, huh? Preds are up, are down 4-2 against the Winnipeg Jets in Winnipeg. Figure that was a Winnipeg all day. That's a game you can't lose. They did kill that. You're picking up audio. Sorry. They did kill that double minor that was taken on Marchessault, though. So the Jets kill that. And then the Flames and Ducks are underway very soon. Or excuse me, the Flames and Ducks are underway. What the heck am I talking about? They're underway. They're underway. I thought I had that game on. But anyway, and then we've got Golden Knights Sharks coming up. Puck should be dropping any moment. Golden Knights been real good, sneaky good. Nobody's talking about them. Any news you guys wanted to talk about? I didn't have anything huge to bring to the table today. The Rangers did have a 3-0 lead tonight and proceeded to lose that game 5-4. That was a rough one. Did you have the Rangers, and did you bet the Rangers, Mike?
I did. Felt real good to start the game.
Well, yeah, they were up 3-0, but that was the first. And by the end of the first, it was 3-2. And I was like, oh, I would have live bet the Stars all day. Malkin up day-to-day with the upper body. Did not notice him in the game today because he wasn't playing. Blue Jackets come back to beat the Penguins in a shootout. And I thought a huge win for the Red Wings against the Senators. Those teams are competing against each other. I really feel for the Senators, man, because they've been playing some good hockey, but they, with Allmark out, it's just going to be tough. They just don't have the goaltending, I think, to, compete is what it feels like. Rico, any stories you wanted to talk about? Your Leafs win again. Yeah. Austin Matthews is back. He has 7 points in 3 games.
Yeah, that was huge for the Leafs tonight. That's 5 straight wins. This is a bit of a tough spot for him. I knew Philly would be fired up a little bit tonight, but I mean, that game was one shot about 4 inches from the far post away from being tied. Travis Konechny fired one right through the crease with the goalie out. So yeah. Leafs were happy to escape with a win there, but nothing crazy as far on the ice as like Hathaway. He didn't get into it with anybody after with the whole McCabe thing going on, but Dewar and Farabee went at it like 5 minutes into the game, and then we're like, okay, this is the preliminary bout going on, and we thought we were going to get a little more action, but the game just settled. They just played the game, no hard feelings. I guess they realized that the Hathaway thing and McCabe was an accident or whatever. They were fighting, and McCabe was shoving his face into the ice right before that happened too, so he was kind of asking for it. So
yeah, I mean, Hathaway didn't do it on purpose. It felt like it was a big nothing burger. I did see a lot of Leafs fans, to include our friend of the show, Sammy McKeeb, complained that if Ryan Reeves didn't drop the gloves with Hathaway, well, first of all, Hathaway's not dropping the gloves with Reeves.
No. The only guy,
Nick Delorier is the only guy on that team that would fight Reeves. Now, I have to ask you this as a Leafs fan before we move on to the next. It's 42 games the Leafs have played this year. Ryan Reeves hasn't dropped the gloves once. I don't get it.
Yeah, you know what? And not many people are talking about it, but Kipper went off on it on the panel tonight, actually, after the first period, talked about Reeves because he gave Hathaway a little bit of a bump and just said a couple words to him right to the bench. So, yeah, I mean, Reeves hasn't been a physical force, nor has he had to. I mean, the Leafs have been playing well, so maybe it's Berube saying, hey, listen, just pace yourself because we'll need you down the stretch when the games get a little stronger, a little tighter, especially in the playoffs. You got no basically kneecaps left and stuff. So just keep playing on the fourth line. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a non-story. I'm surprised nobody's talking about it more, but Kipper did bring it up tonight that he thought he would maybe go out there and just finish somebody. But last time he did that, he ended up on on the shelf because of the Darnell Nurse thing. So maybe he's just trying to behave himself a little
Yeah,
bit.
and that was not intentional either. Like, that was just an unfortunate happenstance that he ended up hitting Darnell Nurse in the head. I did not think that was even a dirty play by him. He got suspended for it, obviously, but I just didn't feel like he did it intentionally. So Saad does chime in the chat about Miller finding his feet. I did want to say the report that came out that I did. This was my one note for the show. Zibanejad for Miller. Canucks said no. Big shocker there. Zibanejad has been brutal for the Rangers this year. I don't know why they would say yes to that deal. And Rangers had JT Miller. You could have kept him.
Oh, you could have maybe sweetened it with Capo Caco and Zibanejad for Miller, or sort of sweetened it that way, but they decided to move on to Caco in another direction.
Well, and I think the Canucks would have taken Capo Caco. I think Keandre Miller is a guy the Canucks would take. He didn't have a good night tonight, though. Winnipeg looks like they're going to win that game 5-2 final. That looks like that's going to be the end of that one. Craziness. I will pop on. What are we doing here?
All the games were pretty tight tonight, except for the Oilers won their 12th and their last 15th, and Boston got 4 shots in the first period. They just didn't show up to this game. Other than that, all the games are pretty good tonight.
Boston is ass. They're just not good. Mike, you're in Boston. They're not good.
So I was watching the game. If you turned your volume up loud enough on your TV, you could hear the Fire Sweeney chants coming from the fans.
I don't blame them. He should be fired.
Yeah,
he should be fired.
I thought they would be better tonight because Swayman's usually pretty good on big games. I actually thought he played well, but the team in front of him was, absent.
How many coaches does a GM get to fire? Okay.
I was okay with Claude Julien getting fired.
But hold on. I got you. Before that, how many coaches does a GM get to fire and keep his job?
I think you get one error. After that, you got to see results. And so far, the results have been Vegas won a cup, and the Blues are now climbing out of the basement. So, I don't know how he still has a job. I think you get one error, and he's had
you
two.
fire a coach that coached you to a Stanley Cup in Claude Julien. Okay, and I get it. You're not going to be there forever if you win a cup, but Claude Julien still coaching in the NHL. Isn't Claude Julien actually on the Blues as an assistant coach, by the way, under Montgomery? Is he not? I believe he is.
He might be.
Yeah. Then you fire Cassidy, and then Jim Montgomery brings you to the best record ever in history in the NHL. And I know you lost to Florida, but Florida was a playoff team. They go to the Stanley Cup final and lose, and then they win it the next year. So to me, there should have been no shade on Monty losing that game or that series. Hey, Rick, it's really good to see you in here, man. Happy New Year. Appreciate you, our friend Rick Smith, Canadian gold medalist in hockey. Yes, I saw that, Sod. I saw Hughes. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. I feel like all of Boston should be clean. I get it. Jeremy Jacobs notoriously cheap, but like, what are we doing here? And Mike, you're the general manager, Sweeney. When are you trading Trent Frederick, whoever else you're not keeping? Whoever else is a UFA on that team. Frederick is the guy.
I'm trading now. Like, I'd be trading. What picks can I grab? That's what I'd be going for, is draft picks, draft picks,
or players like you, like known prospects.
Known prospects, or I don't know. It's just, I actually like what we're doing down in Providence, but it's going to be a rough couple seasons for us. It's just no other way to say it. I've been saying it for a little bit now, and I don't. ticket prices are still through the roof, which makes me angry. Like, that's the only thing I'm sad about. Like, I'm cool with these guys losing, but it's still 150, 175 for me to sit in the balcony. Like,
I feel you, brother.
I think Jacobs wants Neely and Sweeney, though, because they have a formula to get into the playoffs. And I used to be a season ticket holder. And he said, don't worry, guys, we'll get you into the playoffs so you can flip those tickets. Like, that's not the attitude I want from my owner. I want to win a cup. That's why I'm a season ticket holder. But that's not his view. His view is dollars only. He doesn't care about winning. So I actually think Neely's safe. And it pains me to say that a lot.
Yeah, Biz cracked me up tonight. He said on Spit and Chicklets, he's like, just put 200 more seats in the freaking arena you could pay for Frederick. I was like, yeah, probably do it. Probably do it. Yeah. I don't think Sacco's done a bad job. I actually think he's done a really good job.
I mean, you can't coach this team. No one can coach this team.
It's just not good. It's not a winner. They're missing Hampus Lindholm. That is huge because he's a top pair guy with McAvoy. There's very few teams that are going to survive missing a top pair guy. And they're just not getting secondary scoring. Pasternak's on fire. All right, we're getting some people on Instagram too. All right, thanks for joining NHL Nightly.
If Connor McDavid fell into the Bruins' lap today, he still couldn't score with this team because it'd be McDavid versus the other team every shift. Like, this team is traffic cones on skates.
Yeah.
If you got to fire Cassidy, and you don't have a coach problem, you have a personnel problem. Cassidy, you never fire Cassidy. There's coaches you never fire. Cassidy's one.
Well, the Capitals fired him years ago when he first started. I think he had to learn.
Yeah, when he first started, I can see a little bit. But after what he's done up until now, that guy's a genius. Look what he's doing in Vegas. They're winning games effortlessly right now. Effortlessly.
Yeah, they did lose to Montreal how about the run the Montreal Canadiens are on? We got to talk about that. Like, they're 8-2-0 in their last 10, and they beat they beat the last 5 Stanley Cup champions on the road trip, to include Vegas, Florida. The Blues, you can throw them in there, but Colorado, like, that's pretty crazy. The run.
Yeah, and you go ahead and waive Caden Primo. They bring in this kid from Laval, and he's just inserting himself into this team, and they got 4 lines going. Like, you got Jake Evans producing on the 4th line on that team. Like, they're just rolling over, and St. Louis has these guys playing. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, yeah, Montreal's a great story, man. And the East is tightening up. I mean, you got some Canadian teams that are sniffing at the playoffs who weren't talking about a month ago.
Yeah. There was a lot of close games tonight. Obviously, the Blues get the empty netter and they win. The Wild get the empty netter and they win 6-4 against the Blues. But Blues were up in that game. Jets and Preds was not a close game, 5-2, and then obviously Oilers and Bruins. But every other game was close overtime. I mean, Stars win in overtime. Red Wings win in overtime. Blue Jackets win in a shootout. Leafs win 3-2 in a close one with those home and homes need to be the standard, by the way. We need to have home and homes all year long. I love those. I think if you play in the same, now I know that the Flyers are a Metro team and Toronto's an Atlantic team, but aren't those home and homes just awesome? Like, we need more of those, right, guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Well, they create storylines, right? And look at this, like with the Garnet Hathaway and stuff. And then you got to fight 5 minutes in between Connor Dewar and Joel Farabee. I mean, that would never happen if these teams didn't play each other last game. I mean, it's good. It's just something to talk about. I
tweeted that, Rico. I don't know if you saw. I said I did not have Connor Dewar and Joel Farabee scrapping on my bingo card.
Yeah, no, that was the preliminary round. We thought we were getting a main card after that, but again, Delorier wasn't playing, and Ryan Reeves wasn't dropping the gloves.
So that was an ESPN game here in the States. So we had Kevin Weeks and Bob Wischusen, which, by the way, Bob Wischusen, awesome hockey guy, just so good. I really enjoyed it. Good stuff. Okay, Go ahead.
What about landing spots for Jonathan Toews? Have you guys heard anything? Thought about it? I mean, he's 36
Frank
years
Saravelli
old.
reported the Leafs, your Leafs,
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, or Winnipeg were the three teams they said. I don't think he's coming back this year, man. I think next year makes more sense where he could, I mean, he's coming off a real big injury. It's ludicrous to think, or not injury, excuse me, the illness he was struggling with. So, Avi.
This year, you don't think he plays this
No.
year? You got till what? First week of March or something to sign?
I think he has to be signed by the trade deadline or he can't play in the playoffs. So it makes zero sense. To me, I have a tough time believing he'll come back. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't played for what, he's been out as long as Landeskog, hasn't he? It's been out a while.
2021, maybe 2020. Yeah, 2021, I think. Was the last game.
Yeah.
It's been out since I thought, like, he had long COVID. They thought they had, and then they found out it was this or whatever. So that wasn't long after COVID.
No, I think he played in 2023. April 2023 was his last game.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Charlie Dufault. Charlie, your Jets are looking good, man. Jets are looking good. I still think people are sleeping on the Jets for Stanley Cup contender. That Central Division is a meat grinder with Dallas, Winnipeg, and the Minnesota Wild. And Minnesota, I saw, they have Bouillon, who was on Team USA both years, the defending national champions in the Denver Pioneers, David Juracek, and Brock Faber. That's a pretty good decor for the next 10 years. Is there a decor you would take over them? Somebody said Montreal with Hudson, Reinbacher, and Logan Mailloux. I don't know about Reinbacher and Mailloux. We know what Hudson is. He's going to be an incredible player. He already is. He's got almost 35 points or something. He would be the rookie of the year if it wasn't for Macklin Celebrini, like our friend Avi Hoffman is saying. It's just insane to me that the and then obviously Matvei Mishkov being a little bit more of a power play specialist this year. I think he's finding his footing in the NHL. But we weren't expecting Mishkov for a couple of years anyway. Honestly, if you're the Flyers, probably not helping him out that he's done so well start off. So, but he's getting what it looks like in the NHL, which I think is, Cap's got a pretty good prospect pool to there. But obviously, Caps are a good team right now too. So, like,
they have the best Hudson brother though. The Cap has.
I am holding you to that, Mike, and I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case.
He's on pace to beat Lane's freshman scoring. So
I want him to stay. I want him to stay a couple years in college though, because to me, I think he will be a guy that replaces like a Rasmus Sandin on our team right away. Because John Carlson's not going to retire anytime soon. Now that we got like Matthew Waugh and hopefully they keep Chychrun, it's helping out Carlson. He doesn't have to log 38 minutes a night for the Capitals. So that's been probably the best thing. So,
so Juracek's a St. Louis Blues prospect.
There's two Juraceks.
Okay, so Adam Juracek. So I know St. Louis had 5.
David Juracek, who was with Columbus. They traded for him this year.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I was talking about the kid in the tournament. But there was 5 St. Louis Blues prospects in the Final 4 of the World Juniors, and they had a franchise record and 9 prospects compete in the tournament. So St. Louis was well represented there too.
I know, and people think they're going to be trashed for years. Like, you're not paying attention. Yes, they don't have a Connor McDavid. Guess who has a Connor McDavid? Edmonton. Colorado has McKinnon, Rantanen, Makar. By the way, We haven't even talked about this on this show. Is Colorado going to re-sign Mikko Rantanen? What's going on there?
For sure.
Dude, he's got the same age as Draisaitl, right?
So Charlie asked the question. Charlie, we did talk about Jonathan Toews earlier. I would love to see him sign with his hometown team. If Toews goes anywhere, I would love it to be there. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings to see him in Toronto. Colorado makes a lot of sense too. But of the three, the Jets would be the team I'd like to see him go to because he might be the guy that helps put him over the top. But if that's the case, I would like to have him this year because I feel like the Jets window, it's not going to stay open for very long, you know? So what do you guys think to Charlie's question?
I think the Jets would be an excellent choice. Hometown boy, key to the city, first Winnipeg Jets Cup ever. I mean, Jonathan Toews fits right into that.
Three-time Stanley Cup champion will be his fourth.
63% in the face-off dot, unselfish player, help the young kids grow, good mentor in the room. Oh, you can't say enough about the guys.
Well, and what's been the question about Winnipeg? The leadership in the locker room there, right? That's always been up in question. You ain't going to get that with Jonathan Toews in the locker room. Pearlo, what do you think?
Yeah, we'd love it. It'd be a great story. No doubt about it. I don't know. I always said that one of the guys that I always thought that might be a coach one day was Jonathan Toews. To me, he was just as good as Bergeron two-way that you'll ever find. He's one of the smartest guys ever to play. So if you got that kind of intelligence on your team, you take it. I don't know how he's going to play after all that loss, but I would never put anything past Jonathan Toews. Like, he's just a monster. Like, I would never say, it's been too long or anything with a guy like that. He's like one of the most determined players I've ever seen. So I imagine he'll come back and be able to help the team somehow. And I would love for it to be the Jets. Absolutely. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I would think that's good. That would be good. So Vegas is up 1-0. I don't expect San Jose to win this game, Avi. I think they'll be in it. Mark Stone gets his 11th. I'm telling you right now, I think Vegas is going to be the Western Conference final. I just think they are. I think they're a more complete team. I think they have more defensive depth. I like their goaltending better than Edmonton. And I think Florida showed you could shut Draisaitl and McDavid down. Right now, that's who I'd be concerned with on Edmonton. Yes, they have. You think Jeff Skinner is going to score a big-time goal? I saw the guy from What Chaos today on Tyler Yaremchuk's show. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do not think Jeff Skinner is going to be the guy that scores a big goal for them. And sorry. I think he's going to be the guy that turns the puck over or creates a defensive error against a really good defensive team who coaches details, like Pearlo was saying earlier, in Butch Cassidy, which his name isn't Butch Cassidy. But
Rico, we're talking because we like to talk back and forth. We were thinking, wouldn't it be funny if he does so bad that he gets traded at the deadline to like Chicago or something and misses the playoffs again and never makes the playoffs in his whole career?
I would laugh. I think Edmonton should do it, but I will tell you right now, there's not a general manager in their right mind that's bringing that cancer into their locker room, I think.
Yeah, shouldn't be.
I mean, when you got referees, like former referees, like Tim Peel said some stuff about him that I was like, wow.
Really?
Now,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you could research it. I don't want to take words out of his mouth or anything, but
Right.
But he's on the record on his podcast, Snipes and Stripes, the podcast with him and Jeremy Roenick. By the way, we didn't talk about this, and I do want to talk about it because it's prevalent because you brought up the Blackhawks. Did you hear what Jeremy Roenick said about all the Blackhawk players came up and talked to him and Chris Chelios? So it was Chris Chelios, Denny Savard, and Jeremy Roenick, and every single Blackhawk player came up and was like, "Hey," except for one, Connor Bedard. I thought that was odd. Did you guys see that? That not make your timeline? Rico did. He's not. Yes. What are you thinking?
Kind of making it a big deal. Maybe Bedard just
was a big.
didn't think
I think
of it,
if
or maybe
Denny Savard would have said it, what would you have said? That's my thing. Everybody's saying it's because it's Roenick. I feel like it's not fair to Roenick. I feel like it's kind of a really glaring thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the kid might have just been a little bit overwhelmed and stressed out with the games and the weekend and stuff. And maybe he just forgot, or maybe he's just too young and didn't realize that everybody else is doing it. Or I don't know. I don't think he's got a beef against Jeremy Roenick. He's a kid. He has nothing to do with Jeremy.
Well, no,
Roenick.
he didn't talk to Jenny Savard or Chris Chelios. And by the way, when Roenick explained this, he didn't say anything about himself. He just said he didn't come up to Roenick or Savard.
Yeah.
Like he was just talking about showing respect to the game. You got to show respect to the old guys that come around, which I 100% agree with. Like you don't know where you came from if you don't know your history. I think it's very good to know the history of hockey. Yeah. Rick, thank you, Zach Whitecloud, for the Vegas Golden Knights 2-0 Golden Knights. They're unfortunately the Sharks at home. They're going to be outclassed by the best team in the Western Conference right now. In the Vegas Golden Knights. They're probably pretty pissed about not making it far last year. Flames are up 1-0 against the Ducks too, by the way, but that game looks a lot closer. That's shots 12-11. Mackenzie Weegar is your goal scorer for the Flames. Boy, the Flames are not going quietly in the night too, which everybody said they were going to do.
Weegar's playing well because he's playing on his right side. He was playing on his offside before when he was in New Jersey, and he's a totally different player. They slotted him in on that side.
Weegar was not in New Jersey.
Where was he before that?
Florida. He was part of the trade with Huberdeau for Matthew Tkachuk.
Oh, was he? Okay, maybe I got it mixed up. I thought Weegar was in New Jersey.
Are you thinking of they do have a New Jersey player, sorry. Player they have on that team that was with New Jersey was they did get a guy was it Holtz?
No, it's
I'll tell you.
Started with an S. Sharon
Govich. Igor Sharangovich was part of the trade.
No, the other guy.
Yeah, he was part of it.
I got Weegar and Mercer mixed up, even though one's a D-man and one's a forward.
So Kevin Ball was the guy I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
That was with the Devils. Kevin Ball, BAHL. Big dude, too, I think. 6'6", 230, left shot from New Westminster, British Columbia. Kevin Ball, big boy. 187 games played 4 years in New Jersey. So obviously he was part of that trade for Markstrom. So big body. That's a guy, if you're New Jersey, you're like, did you want to trade that guy? He's not very old. So 24 years old. So anyway, Anaheim's been playing some good hockey. I expect them to be back in this game. So they've been playing some good hockey. They're coming around there. And we didn't talk about the Frankfurt Toronto extension at all. What did you guys think of that?
I loved it. I thought if I was Frank, I'd be doing that deal 100 times out of 100. I thought he did a good job with it. And the reason I liked it is I like the deferred payment plan he's got there, where it's like 9 years of $900K or 10 years of $900K afterwards, because he's not going to be living, in a, it sounds stupid, like a high tax bracket state. So I think he moves to Florida, retires, and collects that tax free. I think it's genius. Also, I think he deserves it. I think he's a pretty good player, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, short-term deal. He's, I think, 31, I think. So,
yep.
Yeah, good player. He's obviously succeeding in Anaheim. And, yeah, I think he's setting a precedent. I think you're going to see that a little bit more with players moving forward as well, too, especially if they don't want to reside in the state they're playing in after their career. But, yeah, this is a whole –
Wasn't he an all-star last year?
Oh,
Didn't he make an appearance in the All-Star game last year?
But Toronto, I think he was an All-Star.
Yeah, I thought he was an All-Star last year. Like, that's why I really liked his deal. Like, it wasn't too much on the team, and I thought he got what he was worth.
Yeah. He's having a little bit of an off year for a contract year. I don't hate the deferred money. I will say this, though. I do agree with people when you say you are kind of losing money, but he wouldn't gonna get money from 20 till 2035 anyway. So the one thing that really stuck out to me that I thought, well, this does make some sense, is Colby Cohen said it's really hard for retirees to get to buy a house because you don't have any income coming in. Yes, you may have made millions of dollars and have millions of dollars of investments in this stuff, but sometimes for a bank to just go, hey, here's the money for the house, it's a little more difficult. So, but Toronto's going to have $900K coming in for 10 years after he's done playing. Not too shabby, So, and then people are like, oh, he won't live in California with the taxes there. Yeah, okay. If you get a tax attorney, you could live in Canada and not pay taxes. This tax thing has been blown out of freaking proportion. People need to educate themselves.
It has. And Josh Donaldson and Russell Martin actually just won a case not too long ago. I think a couple weeks ago that they've been dealing with the CRA here in Canada, and they won a case for tax reasons and stuff. And I know John Tavares has been going through it as well too. So there is ways around it if you manage your money properly.
Yeah. Don't spend like a reckless abandonment. Bacon, what's up, my friend? Bacon, our resident. Bacon, by the way, is studying to be a police officer in college. So
good on.
I laugh, Bacon, because I was like, well, your name works out, dude.
Come on.
Definitely a pork product, Bacon. No, we love the police here, my man. He's laughing. Avi says, Sod, Tom Willender.
He's coming to town.
I don't know what you mean there, Avi. You're gonna have to clarify.
Pellybuck won his top prospect, but he's probably 2 years away.
So I don't know what you mean here, Charlie. Did he win his 300th game? So tonight, if Jonathan Quick would have won, that would have been his 400th career win, making him the first American goalie to hit 400 wins, which blows me away because, well, first of all, we know Quick's going to the Hall of Fame, right? So, we just know that, right? Well, Wallender's 2-3 years away, you think, Pearlo?
Yeah, probably somewhere around.
Where's he at? Oh, he's the goalie. He's the goalie, right?
No, he's a defenseman. Tom.
Oh, okay.
He's good. He's going to be really good, but I think he's 2 or 3 years away.
Oh, Avi disagrees with you. He says no chance. He dominated at the World Juniors. I think Axel Sandin Pellikka is going to be skating with the Red Wings next year, for certain. That guy had a hat trick. And the Red Wings need that explosiveness from their back end. That's missing. But people that are giving up on them are not they're not rushing their guys. And this is a good time for them to not rush their guys because the East is open. Nobody picked the Caps to be where they are. Who in the East is the best team? Who is? I think it's Toronto. I don't think anybody's even giving them a credit, but I think Rick Smith said that the Leafs, and I don't give a shit, Rick, it matters when the season is over. It doesn't matter. I don't want to win the President's Cup. I want to win the Stanley Cup. I don't want to be the regular season champions, Rangers.
Well, do you see Ryan Leonard playing with the Caps in the playoffs this year?
Yes. And when guys like Jeff Marek are pissed that he's playing with Team USA because he should be in the thing in the NHL now, he would be in the NHL this year.
Article came out today for Leonard signing at the end of the season.
Yeah, he has to. The Caps would trade him if he doesn't sign because if he goes back to college for a third year, which he's not gonna, his rights would be up. So they'd have to trade him. And they would get a haul for him, which I do not want. I want him to skate. I want to see number 9 in the black reverse retro Eagle Capitals jersey. That's what I'm about to spend money on as soon as he signs with Washington Capitals. So
no, there was Rico, an article came out today. he's supposed to sign in St. Louis come April.
Who?
Leonard, like sign an NHL deal, and when he goes, they're like already saying, "Oh, when we see you in St. Louis."
Oh yeah.
Like
So
they're saying, pack your. He said, pack your dorm room. We're gonna, be prepared in St. Louis.
yeah. So hopefully they're there in the Frozen Four in Boston College. I expect them to be there. I mean, the only player they lost from that team was Will Smith. You imagine if he'd stayed? Like, he's actually looked pretty good. When we saw Kent Hughes, he was there to sign Lane Hudson. So, that's what I talked to him about. I guess you're here to sign Lane Hudson then. And then the year before, I saw Dubas when he was the Leafs general manager, and he was there to sign Minnesota forward Matthew Nyes. And look at Nyes, by the way. Let's give Nyes some love, Rico. He's been tearing it up the last few games. Isn't that good to see?
Yeah, man. Came out of nowhere, top line minutes. Guys like him, Bobby McMahon, like just found money, found talent, just fitting into the lineup. Just blowing by Nick Robertson in the lineup. I mean, there's guys that get it. There's guys that are improving game by game. And yeah, Matthew Nyes is unreal, man. Just you could tell he's a good kid on the ice. His size is just going to get better. The guy's got speed. He'll get his hands in his goal scoring touch, which he has found lately. But
I had ATG tonight.
Right on the number one.
I had Nyes ATG tonight.
Nice. Yes, you did. You did too, Rico. Did you not? Did you have Nyes ATG?
No, I had Lawton until he ran into Mitchkoff, and both of them left the ice.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. You gave me Lawton, McTavish, and Perfetti. We got lots of time for McTavish to pot one. And did Perfetti score tonight? I didn't even see because a lot of Winnipeg goals. And Saad, I do think James Hagen's going to be top 2, Avi. And Saad, yes, the Caps and Canucks play tomorrow. So we'll be live tomorrow at 10:30. We'll be able to come in and talk about how your Canucks fared. Getting Quinn Hughes is the boom back for them. Capitals did not look good against the Buffalo Sabres, but I didn't get to watch the game because it was on NHL Network. So I'll just leave it at that.
Why can't they beat the Sabres? The Sabres always seem to be.
Well, the Sabres
bet on them. That's why.
I mean, yeah, you bet on the Capitals.
Yeah, thought it was a good bet.
Yeah, no. I always stay away from the games where it's close. So your goal scorers for Winnipeg were Morrissey, Connor. Oh, Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg just got his 10th goal tonight. Boy, there's Velarde and Nino Niederreiter. So no Perfetti. But you still have the chance to hit plus 340 on McTavish, Rico. And then Pearlo has Ducks money line. He's a believer in the Ducks. Ducks only down 1 goal. Plenty of time left in that game.
Come back. I'm having a killer.
Yeah, the Blues money line, but Vegas 1.5 is looking good for you right now. They're up 2-0, and you won the Red Wings game, did you not?
Yep.
Yep. They won 3-2 in overtime against Ottawa, which that was a huge game, by the way. So, Nyes is getting paid. Rick Smith said, "Yeah, I traded for him actually on my NHL because I was like the Leafs weren't going to pay him, and he wasn't having a crazy year. And I think I gave him 3 or 4 at $4 million, which I think the Leafs they could get him under in that number if they're smart. You could give him 4.5, 5 for 4 years. 4 times 5. Would you take that, Rico? $5 million at 4 years for Nyes?
It's just he might just play this out.
Yeah. Well, but what is he? I mean, he has 16 goals. Let's say he finishes with 25.
Yeah,
maybe 30. 30 would be. You're talking maybe 7 and a. But
yeah, take a bridge deal.
You're not going to give him. 20 million is enough money for a player his age, and then he's going to be able to make a ton of money after that if he continues to develop the player we think he'll be. So
can they afford him at that price at the end of the year?
Oh yeah. with the cap going up and
yeah. Well, I think that's the
Go
whole
ahead.
thing with the Leafs waiting on the Tavares contract right now is they just want to see where the cap's going to go at the end of the year because Tavares is almost a guarantee that he's staying there. I think they just need to work out the numbers. The negotiations I heard today, they're open right now, even with Marner and Tavares, but Marner will probably wait a little closer just to take a peek on July 1st. But I think the Tavares one is just a matter of seeing what the cap's going to go at, and they're going to settle on a number with
I go 3 million, 8.5 to 9 for Tavares. Somewhere in there. 3 years, 8.5, 9 million. Somewhere in there. That's a good deal. 27 million if you did 9. 3 times 9, 27 million total. With all the money he's made in the past. That's not a huge pay cut. Only about 2 million.
That's actually that's better for the player than the team. I think the team's thinking a little less than that.
You say 8.5 or something.
I think
He's
8
not-
on the nose. 8 on the nose.
You think 8 on the nose?
Yeah.
You think he takes a team-friendly deal like 7.75 or something?
Sure.
4 years maybe?
He's talking like he's going to, but I don't know.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
you're
I think that 8 is-
I've heard this rule. So the jailbreak rule, Rick, correct me if I'm wrong. It was you score shorthanded, the penalty is released.
Yeah, the PWHL's doing it. I would love it. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm mixed on it. Like, I mean,
Teams would be a lot more
congrats-
aggressive on the PK. I'll tell you that much.
That's true, but I think you just get rewarded for scoring a goal, and you know, that's it. But
Yeah.
Well,
I don't hate
the
it.
idea is to make it more offensive during the time that people are going to take more risks.
I kind of like the
Now, the
rule.
question is, coach is going
Oh,
to
he
think it's
doesn't.
worth it to take those risks because you're just going to open yourself up to be a worse penalty.
Well, there's that too, right? You might get scored on easier. But again, it encouraged scoring. I wouldn't mind it. I understand why the women's game's doing it too. I don't mind it.
I think with the Tavares thing, just final thought on Tavares, I think there's probably a handshake agreement there somewhere with the higher ups that he'll move into a front office position somewhere in Toronto, and that'll probably help him because I could see John Tavares wanting to kind of stay in the game as well after.
Yeah. To me, Tavares at 7.5 and Mitch Marner at 11 million, and you take it all day. And if you're tree living, you just lay it out to those guys. You bring them all into the room and you say, Nyes, Tavares, Marner, this is what we want to do. We want to keep this core together, but we want to be able to add where we need. They know where they need to add stuff. They need to keep guys like Tanev. They need a third line center. You just spell it out to them. This is what we want to do. Marner, 8 years, 11 million. That's $88 million. It's more money than you'll ever spend in your life. Plus, Marner I'm sure he gets deals there in Toronto, and he's played unbelievable this year. So you give him the 11. It's not a slap in the face because it's what he makes now.
Yeah, you win the
It's not
cup, key to the
just deals,
city,
it's-
rest of your life, you're set.
Yeah, you'll never have to pay for a meal in that.
Doesn't he
town.
do commercials and stuff there too? Like that's a
I
market
don't-
where you can make so much money. You're in
I
a great
heard
market.
Matthews and McDavid are doing a McDonald's commercial in Canada, but we don't see that stuff. So here in
Yeah,
the
they did.
States.
Yeah.
Here's what I laugh about that stuff. I say, who goes to McDonald's because McDavid and Matthews did a
Little
commercial?
kids.
I would-
Little kids. Little
yeah, I
kids
guess
for sure.
little kids. But I didn't go to McDonald's when I was a kid because I gave a shit who was doing the commercials. Because like Michael Jordan did them when, after I was a kid, basically. But I went there because they had the playground and stuff, which most of them don't have all that stuff anymore.
Well, what cereal was Gretzky on? I remember I used to like
Was it
eat the
Wheaties?
Gretzky cereal.
Dude, I have Wheaties here in the States for sure.
Yeah.
Gretzky? Yeah.
Only
that's a
athletes. The only athletes that were on consistently on breakfast cereals in the U.S. was Wheaties, Breakfast of Champions. So,
No, actually, didn't Gretzky have his own cereal?
well, in Canada, I don't know. He had his own restaurant in Toronto for a while. I know that.
Yeah, I know Connor Bedard's doing Hyundai commercials
Is he in Canada?
in the States, I think.
Oh, Hyundai.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Honda would make sense because it's like a sponsor of the NHL, but
Oh. Pro
Hyundai.
Stars. It was Pro Stars.
That's what it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
but that's Canadian cereal
Must
for sure
be,
because
yeah.
I never
it
even
was
heard
like
of
an
that.
Oilers colored box.
Yeah. There was a few
Okay.
teams that did stuff like that.
Oh, they're skating. Somebody's getting skated off under. Connor Zary is being taken off by Ryan Lomberg and oh man, I think Connor Zary got injured bad.
Oh no.
Oh no. Let's see what happened here. Ooh, big hit, big clean hit though. Nice hit from. Oh, but he's grabbing his knee. Hellison, clean hit. Nothing dirty about this hit at all. He had the puck. He goes right at him. Oh man, rough. Ooh, he's rough. I'll just drop you out, Pearlo. You got to do.
You remember when Bobby Orr was the Planters Peanut Man back in the day, 1981?
No, Rico. First of all, Mike wasn't born in 1981. He's only 30. So
I was
he
only
doesn't
2 years
remember.
old, but my dad told me this story that Bobby Orr was out of hockey or whatever, and he just like thrown some extra money at him, and he was like the Peanut Man. He was like the Planters Peanut, like face of Planters Peanuts.
So Rico, do you remember the guy that's like 5'4"? He's got short and a comb over black hair in that same commercial in the background.
In the Peanut commercial?
Yeah. And he's also in Bobby Orr's coaching video.
Rick, I like that rule. I would be
Oh.
okay with the. I would be okay with the puck over the glass being 1 minute. I think the puck over the glass should not be a penalty unless it's deemed
Well,
intentional.
Don Cherry was in the picture, and who else was?
Ken Gray.
Who's that?
That is my uncle.
Oh, no way. The guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
No way.
That's my mom's oldest brother. Yeah.
Oh, sick, man. Ah,
Well, he's
sweet.
a Bostonian, man. He's from
Yeah, so
Boston.
like if you ever anyone out there, if you see Bobby Orr's VHS tape, the guy who's standing like this on the bench with him, I'm related to that guy.
What is it? Bobby Orr's VHS?
Yeah, his coaching video on VHS.
That's unreal.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
that commercial's like clip by clip in his house. It's kind of hilarious.
It's like there's like a 5-minute video. Let's see if we can get the images. He's on the cover of the VHS.
I don't know if he's on the well, he's in the VHS. Like he's just a background character on the bench.
Okay.
He's a coach.
All right.
I just saw that hit now. Oh my gosh, that looks like
It was a clean hit, but it's like Zary's probably hurt, man. Bad. He grabbed his knee.
they
Right
caught
away.
him. There was knee on knee for sure. Caught him right in the knee.
But he squares up on him, Pearlo. He definitely didn't try to.
Oh yeah,
knee
I'm
on
not
him.
saying it's illegal, but I'm just saying their knees hit.
Is that him there?
Yeah.
Jesus, he's so young in that video. Yeah,
That's him, though?
But yeah, that's him for so many
This
years
guy?
ago. Yeah, his name's Ken.
All right.
Yeah,
That's wicked.
There you
yeah.
go.
His he had 2 kids. They played it. They're my cousins. When I say I had cousins that played at University of New Hampshire, Frozen 4 team. That's their dad.
By the
He's
way-
still around? He's still around?
He's barely, but still breathing.
Is that my dogs barking?
That's cool. You don't talk to him?
I do. No, he's just old and smokes a pack a day. Like he's on his last legs.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
What
that's cool,
happened?
man. That's an iconic
What
photo.
happened?
Bobby
What happened to your
Orr
uncle?
and-
He's
No,
still,
He's what is he? 80 at this point. And he just
he's still kicking. Okay.
yeah, he's still kicking. He's just he's not in the best of health, but he's 80 years old. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, dude. You make it to 80. That's
And
good.
still working on the farm. So good for him.
Okay, let's talk about tomorrow's game. Sod kind of teed it off. Hey, good night, Rick. Thank you so much for being with us. First game of the night.
Hey,
We have TNT tomorrow, by the way. 2 TNT games, doubleheader,
I
Avalanche,
know I only get
Blackhawks.
2 games tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get TNT. Do you have TNT? It's on TNT or Max, Perlo. So a lot of times your cell phone plan or something gives you Max for free. And so I get it from something. I don't know what I get it from, but I get it for free for somewhere. And so it's on Max if you got Max. So if you know anybody in the States that has Max, you can use Max. If you don't get TNT. Easy to get TNT though. I bet you your little workout room has cable and TNT's on there. You go in there when you're working out and just watch the game there. Anyway,
Oh,
sorry.
really? Perfect.
Yep, bet you money. Bet you money it's
We'll
in there.
work out for 2 hours tomorrow and watch the game.
Well,
Cool.
TNT's basic cable. Yeah, Avalanche Blackhawks, Pearlo. That game will be over in the first, so you won't have to worry.
Exactly.
You won't have to work out for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I'll wait till the next game to go to the gym.
Okay, so well, no, because Pearlo, the late game's 10 p.m. Eastern, and your little day room thing closes, so you ain't gonna be able to watch the Panthers. Utah.
Oh, that sucks. I gotta watch Colorado, Chicago. Oh, it's better than nothing. I guess.
Yep. Dude, if you want to watch it for free, buddy, there you go. Canucks Capitals. Canucks are plus 142. Where are you guys out on this one? Rico, go ahead and kick it off.
Canucks are couple losses deep here, but the Caps are coming off a loss against Sabres too. So, geez, man, a little tricky spot.
Canucks aren't good this year, Saad. I'm sorry. There's all this inner turmoil. They're gonna be a playoff team, but
I don't even think
everybody else.
Team. I think they're going to lose.
Oh, they're third in the Pacific, Pearlo.
Doesn't matter. I think they're going to lose like crazy this back half.
Yeah, Canucks are on a bit of a road trip here. But Washington was home against the Rangers, go to Buffalo, back home a couple days later against the Canucks. Vancouver's already sitting in Washington right now.
Anaheim just scored. Alex Killorn.
You know what?
So that's
I don't know who the goalie's going to be.
Oh,
Bailey. Demko and Thompson.
Bailey from the WWE's at the Sharks game. All right. Drew Amenda's interviewing her. Sweet.
Yeah.
She's a big-time Sharks fan. She's up 40 minutes. That's freaking sweet. Bailey from WWE. If you don't know, guys, I'm a huge WWE fan. So,
yeah, where is she? You said
she's on. She's getting interviewed by Drew Amenda from Fox or from NBC Sports San Jose. Drew Amenda, Randy Hahn. Randy Hahn's a Canadian. He is one of the best play-by-play guys. This is a great broadcast team. Randy Hahn, Drew Amenda. I cannot say more things about them. Calgary's on a 3-minute. I guess they gave a 5-minute power play for that hit. I didn't think it was dirty. I thought it was a clean hit. It sucks that the guy got hit, but the replay I saw, it was like they went bam. Like he had the bucket, was head-on collision, but it was, I didn't think it was dirty. I think maybe the refs overreacted there on that one. So that must have been a shorthanded goal from Killorn then. So
yeah, so not too many people had Washington being where they are this year, but even further to that point, who had Washington number 1 in the NHL in goals for per game on average?
Nobody had Washington making the playoffs.
That's number 1 in the NHL, not 2, not 3, not 4, number 1.
Yeah, Mike's saying Caps were 165. Oh, they moved from 185 to 165. I'm getting 170 from DraftKings on the NHL site. So anyway, guys, let's not spend too much. There's 4 games. Let's get through this real quick.
I'll say Vancouver. I said Vancouver won't win another game in this road trip, so I definitely take Washington.
Okay, Mike, you're on the Caps.
I might go 1.5, but definitely on the Caps.
So here's what I was gonna say. Ovi gets his 20th goal this season, tying him with Gordie Howe for most 20 goals. There's only 2 more records he needs to break. Gretzky's and the game-winning goals record of Jaromir Jagr. He's 2 or 3 behind Jagr of all time. He will have all the goal-scoring records by the time it's all said and done. So I like Ovi to get a goal in that game. I'm sure you're not getting good money on that. Avalanche at Blackhawks. Blackhawks are plus 215. There's no effing way I would even touch this game. Unless you're doing like a goal scoring prop. Bertuzzi's been pretty hot for the Hawks and leads them in goals, 14. So I like him or Foligno. They seem to be the only guys giving a shit right now on that roster to score a goal, but Avalanche win this game easily. Rico, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think Avalanche too. And it's like, man, Chicago had Brossoit. They took Brossoit from Winnipeg, and this guy basically has hardly even played a game, if he has, even this year. And I was thinking at least we're going to pick up this guy, but I'm so glad they grabbed Stolarz, even though he's on the shelf. But
he'll be back.
Dude,
You're going to get him back just in the nick of time, right for the month before the playoffs, probably. I actually think he will be back before the end of this month.
The only thing is Colorado has Minnesota right after this game. They got to fly right to Minnesota after this game, so might be a little spot for the Hawks here.
No,
Yeah. Give me Chicago.
Plus 215. Rico's on Chicago.
All day long.
Perlo, you'll be working your
I
ass
want
out.
more than-
1.5.
I want more
Chicago
than
plus 1.5.
215. Plus 215 for Chicago. I want like plus 270. I'll take the Avalanche minus 1.5.
Okay. The only money to be made is by taking the Avs minus 1.5. Mike, what are you thinking?
I don't like the price here, so I'm just going to sit this one out. But
I don't disagree
if
with
pick
that.
something, taking the Avs, but I'm going to sit this one
We
out.
need more of that from our people. Panthers at Utah Hockey Club. Utah plus 114. Man, I'll tell you what. I have not been overly overwhelmed by the Panthers this year. They've just been they don't change their game, but I think they struggle against speedy teams, kind of like the Capitals. Capitals struggled against Buffalo. They're a very fast team. I like Utah here at home. Utah's been fairly good at home. They need to keep winning and keep their playoff hopes alive. I think this is a good spot for Utah, plus 114. Rico, what do you think?
Yeah, I love Florida in this spot.
Okay.
Yeah. Just looking at this spot, I think Florida, Utah's just getting home. I mean, the only thing with Utah is they haven't played since Saturday, so they could be well rested. That's the other thing too. So it's not like they're coming back off a road trip and having to play 2 days later like Montreal did. Even though they had
Dylan Gunther leads the Utah Hockey Club in goals, 16 on the year already.
So good. They signed that kid at the right time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Perlo, what do you think? Panthers, Utah.
Florida's learning what it means to be the champions, and everybody's out to get you. Right?
Yep, I thought they got everybody's best shot.
This young, fast Utah team, I'll give them a shot at plus money here. I'll give them a shot. Why not?
I'm changing my beat. I'll take Utah too. They'll match up against the top guys for Florida. They'll have last change. The crowd will be pumped. You're playing the X-Cup champs in your new building, and yeah, I think it'll be a spirited game for Utah there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Utah wins an OT. Maybe you take Utah draw or something, but plus 114. Mike, what do you think?
I actually don't want to touch this one because I'm originally leaning Panthers 1.5 here. But having the day off, but I'm struggling taking you guys said it best, the faster team at home. Usually that's a win. Maybe Utah plus 1.5. I want to see also if Ekblad's in or not. He's listed as day-to-day, so that'll be something else I want to see.
Yeah. Okay, well, final game of the night, and it's the Flames on a back-to-back with the LA Kings. I think with the loss of Connor Zary, there's no way I'm not taking the Kings here, but the Kings are minus 230 right now. Let's go with Mike first on this one. Mike, what do you think?
So I actually just lost the line. I cannot bet this game at the moment. I think it's because of that injury.
It's probably because Zary's out.
Prior to that injury, I was all over the Kings. Still going to be on the Kings. Maybe it depends on what kind of odds I'm getting. I may not because I may be juiced out. But
yeah, I'm betting that line slid quick.
Right now it's locked. Cannot touch it. It's impossible.
Yeah. Over under 5.5. Pearlo, what do you think?
I'll take LA in regulation and LA minus 1.5. One of those things should happen, and then the only thing I have to worry about is that, Calgary doesn't win or it goes to overtime, and I don't think it will in this spot. So LA's been so good at home right now, and Calgary's terrible on the road. How do you take Calgary?
I'm going to tell you this, Flames fans, Bacon, I hope you're still with us. This might be a blessing in disguise for the Flames because you really don't want to make the playoffs this year. You really want to get a high draft pick and be a lottery team because that's what you need to do. You need to add some, Calgary just, as I say that, Calgary just scored 2-1.
Calgary's got a lot of picks.
Nazem Kadri. Yeah, they don't need the picks, but if I'm saying you don't want to be making the playoffs just to get beat in the first round. If Flames make the playoffs and they're the third seed in the Pacific, they're just going to get beat in the first round. Rico, what do you think of this game?
I'd rather lose in the playoffs and not make it at all. I mean,
I don't disagree with that, but if you're a rebuilding team, right now they're not in. They would be out. So you lose right now right now the playoffs are as follows. In the East, your top 3 in the Atlantic are Toronto, Florida, Boston. Boston, I'm surprised they're hanging on. Tampa Bay beat Carolina tonight. Tampa Bay's coming for that 3rd spot, Boston. Okay.
Please
Washington, New Jersey, Carolina. That's the top 3 in the Metro. I don't think those teams change. I think the order could change. I easily could see New Jersey or Carolina passing the Capitals. I don't expect the Capitals to keep playing 700 hockey the whole year. And your 2 wild cards in the East as of today are Tampa Bay, which they've only played 38 games, by the way, so they easily could pass Boston. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, ladies and gentlemen, they have a points percentage lead over the Pittsburgh Penguins. And right at their heels, obviously, Pittsburgh, Ottawa, Montreal, and Detroit are all 2 points out of there. And then Philly 3. And you could go on. Okay, in the West, Central, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Dallas are your top 3 there. I don't think that changes. I don't think Winnipeg relinquishes that. Dallas has been kind of mid this year, too. They're awful on the road.
Colorado will be there.
Okay, maybe. Vegas, Edmonton, LA are your top 3 in the Pacific. And your 2 wildcard teams are Colorado and Vancouver. How would you like it if you're the number 2 overall record in the East? So right now, Vegas would draw the Colorado Avalanche in the first round if that's how the playoffs
It's
went.
bound to happen in the West. We remember talking about that. There's going to be a first round matchup that's going to be unbelievable in the West.
Yeah, no, it's going to be horrible. And Edmonton would match up against the Kings again. I would be worried if I was an Edmonton fan this year. Anyway, I'm just saying. So yeah. Anyway,
it's getting tighter. It's getting tighter and tighter.
All right, boys.
I don't mind it. Edmonton's the same as they have been for years. Well, except for the fact that they did make the finals last year.
Yeah,
now with what they did
the conference finals a couple years ago, didn't they? Against
with what they did with their team after, though, like now they're not going. I don't believe they're going to be in the finals.
Well, they have cap room, right, Pearlo?
It depends on what they do with their cap room. That's true. You're right.
Yeah, but they don't have much to trade. That's the thing. And the thing is, like, the teams that you keep hearing, like, that are going to trade Bowen Byram or Nick Cousins, the best player they have in their prospect pool is Matt Savoy. He came from Buffalo. Buffalo traded for Ryan McLeod. They're not going to get Matt Savoy back. So I don't think Edmonton's going to have a trade partner in the Buffalo Sabres. So I just wonder who's going to sauce them what they need to get them over the top. So
they got their first this year, don't they?
They do, but dude, at some point you got to take some players like McDavid and Draisaitl aren't going to be.
They don't care, obviously.
No, I'd be surprised if they trade their first, but I got you. That's it. You're not going to get. I just don't think you're going to get what you need just for a first. That could be 32nd overall. So, and they need goaltending. They need.
I don't think so. So if he's staying, they're not going to be doing anything about
that. I think they need goaltending in addition to Stuart Skinner. I just do.
Oh, and a second goaltender there, maybe. Then.
Yeah, I don't think Pickard is terrible, but we know. So anyway, congratulations to Chris Rooney, first American referee to hit 1,500 games. I didn't know Chris Rooney was American, but that's awesome. So, no, Charlie, if you look, they actually have a lot of cap space because they didn't re-sign. And then, of course, if Kane doesn't come back, they've got they can retroactive him. They haven't even put him on LTIR. If they retroactive him, they'll have a lot of space. So
they got that Bo Akey kid. They just drafted.
Now you've got Capone in the pipeline. The kid's on fire. 15 points in 12 games.
Yeah, I mean. So what you're looking though is, I think Kane comes back next month, but again, I don't. Edmonton up top 6. I'm not worried about. It's their back end and their ability to play defense. So we'll see. All right, boys. I think that's the show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna get some big goals from Jeff Skinner in the playoffs. I can just see it now.
Yeah.
Dude, he's a big body. He carried the Kitchener Rangers to the playoffs. He gets goals scored around. Look where Jeff Skinner scores his goals. He scores them around the net. Where do playoff goals get scored around the net? I'm just throwing this out there. I know we all hate on Jeff Skinner and stuff. He's never played in the playoffs before, but I have this inkling that Jeff Skinner is going to show up in a key moment in the playoffs this year. That's my prediction and my final thought.
We're not doing final thoughts today. Bye, everybody. Have a good one. See ya.